Okay, Ryan. Wide camera. Wide camera.
Well, you know what?
Wide camera.
I don't know if he's back there or not.
But wide camera.
He is. We're not seeing it. But this is the part of the show that you show the folks at home how it's done, because it is very, very technically challenging to do a show like this. But I think we're on.
Now
I
we're
see a
on.
wide shot.
Why'd that take so long?
That's right. I don't know. All I can say is happy Saturday to everybody. It's going to be a fun night. And I had a fun night last night with the audience at my cat's live solo.
Now,
It
let's
was
try to
really
get you
fun.
in the middle of your chair. Scoot to your left.
My left.
There's the middle of town.
Well, okay. Yeah, I can just kind of glue myself to this
I can move
spot.
the camera if you'd like.
No, it doesn't matter to me. See, I have my sparkly boots on. Did you see that? They're
No, but
blinding.
we can see them now.
Do you see
There
them?
Go.
Well, they don't really
She
sparkle that
sparkles
much in
in
this
the spotlight.
because I got dressed in a hot minute. But we had a fun week, and last night I had a fun night with a lot of you on my cat live solo on Facebook. It was really fun, and it's Saturday, which means tomorrow is Sunday, and for us that means a day. It's the only day off we take is Sunday, right?
Yes.
And so it's kind
We
of.
have fish on Friday. And
Do you remember that, having fish
well, our house,
on
we
Friday?
Had, at our house we had fish.
Yeah, we did too.
Fish
We had fish on Friday.
Sunday off.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so I'm on Cat and Todd live on YouTube right now, and I know that we're on Facebook as well. But the only access I have is YouTube, so I just like to say hi to everybody over there on Facebook.
Do you
But for
see
the
some
people
names
on
that are of
YouTube,
interest to you?
well, I can't see the
'Cause you don't have any
Facebook
glasses
names.
on.
No, but I can. But I'm going to go in now and
you go.
find the actual.
And
You're getting a
is
lot of boot action from
Getting
Oh,
a lot
yeah.
of. You like the boots?
Yeah.
The
I
boots
I do,
are
but
awesome,
everyone
aren't they?
else likes the boots as well. You're getting a lot of boot action.
And how about mine, huh?
You know
I
what?
think that is what we call lesbian chic.
Which one, me or him?
Him.
Oh no, those are Merrills.
Oh no, I love them.
But why do you call them lesbian chic?
Well, that's
Well,
only his line. I don't know where that comes from.
Because they're not Birkenstocks.
It's a
and that was
joke.
the
It's
famous.
just-
that
it's
was
just-
like
I could tell you
always
that
our.
they are very comfortable.
Which
and
I
good-
also
and they're
have.
good for
Well,
your
no,
feet.
because they're farm boots. They're working boots.
You know what they are?
They're working
if you
shoes.
have a bad back, I will tell you now. When my back is bothering me, I put on my Merrills just like this for one day, and my back feels
Yeah, but
better.
don't forget,
That's how good
don't
those
forget
shoes
you have
are.
inserts like you do. I have inserts inside.
Right, but I don't have inserts in the Merrills. And
Well, where
so-
are the inserts that we bought from that expensive
Oh no, I
joint?
keep. They're in here.
Oh,
They're
you have
my-
them in now?
Yeah, I do.
All right, so she has
But what I'm saying to people,
orthotic inserts.
I do. But for people that don't have inserts, the Merrill, they're called Croc. The style is called Croc. Merrel. We have no affiliation with them, so this is just a done
However,
purely
if they
on
want to
love.
sponsor this show, we are open to
That's right.
callers.
But when my back is bothering
We're
me, I
fielding.
put those on for the day. Unbelievable.
Well,
those shoes.
these have been my shoes now for about 15 years.
Oh, I know.
And I like it
You're-
'cause I don't
You
like-
are the one that bought me my first pair of
I like it
Merrills.
because you don't have to tie your shoes.
That's
either.
how I knew it was love.
That's right.
And
because
you know
don't have
what?
to tie
They're
your
also
shoes.
cute. Yeah, because you bought me a pair of Merrills.
I will tell you this, though. I didn't mention this, but when we were at the Magic Castle the other night, we had our tie and our jacket, everything, and then I had the hat. He said, "No, you can't have the hat."
Yeah, I
So-
saw them make you take
So I
that
had to
off.
take off the hat. Then he looks down at my feet and he says, "Oh, you got to have dress shoes." I said, "These are my dress shoes." He said, "No, they don't qualify." I said, "I have flancher, problems with my arch. These are the shoes that I have to wear by medical reasons."
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
next.
the
Next.
the
And it's
Magic
true.
Castle was fun. We went there for dinner the other night. We hadn't been there since before COVID, actually, and it's been taken over by another, because Milt Larson passed away, so it got sold and taken over. And
Did
it's
you have your photograph from that Seth?
Oh, we had a great time. If you can show the one of all of us. The Magic Castle is in Los Angeles. It's a private club. You can go if you know a member and you get a guest pass. But it is so fun if you love magic, which of course I do. And we got to see a great show after dinner. That's what you do. You go have dinner there, and it's a real castle, and it's incredible. It's just, you go in and you know, it's the secret bookshelf that opens.
It's a show, an experience.
It's amazing.
It's a dinner show experience.
It really is.
And the only thing I will say that I have a little different, I don't know how yours was, but my food was not as good as I remember it being, but maybe I ordered the wrong thing.
No, I think, you know, it's to be expected because you have a different chef and, you know, and all that. Do you have the photo?
Do you have Apple?
Okay, we're going to show you, there we are at the front of the Magic Castle. All the way to your left, you are seeing Scott Michaels, who has a fantastic YouTube channel called Dearly Departed. And
who's that old guy with the jacket
that's
on?
Todd Fisher next
Jesus.
to him. They made you take your hat off. But let me just finish giving Scott his props, because Scott Michaels has this Dearly Departed great page, and it's all about, you know, how would you describe it, Seth? It's about, you know, famous people, how they died, where they're buried.
Great job at honoring the legacy of, you know, the famous people who have passed on now. But what he does is he also does a great job at literally documenting their last moments here on Earth,
Yes.
you know, with all these great stories.
Now,
but he
this
also
is gonna
has
be
a
long answer. You better bring him up.
great oh no, not looking like this. Not today.
Well, Scott Michaels just does a great job. I love his page.
He's fantastic.
And when I can't sleep at night, I go to Dearly Departed on YouTube or Jordan
the
Days
Lion.
with Jordan the Lion. Those are the two YouTube channels that I get all happed up on. But I do love Scott's, because he had the Dearly Departed tours in Los Angeles before COVID. And they were so popular, and people loved going to see all that where things happened, and, you know, big, great show. So you should check Dearly Departed out. And then
Drink some coffee.
next to you, I'll drink some coffee.
Big swallow.
Because I had a headache before the show, so Todd had Seth grab me some coffee. You are drinking yours, and I know what happens when you get the zoomies. You're like a little Pomeranian. You get the zoomies.
Before, but I got preoccupied with something else. You know, by the time this kicks in, I'll be well into the show.
Yeah, right. So it was you, me, Scott, Seth, and Channing. So
Okay.
we had a good time.
Now,
Okay, we're
but
moving on, I know, because
but
we
we're
have a lot
supposed
to cover.
What we're supposed to start with today is a reminder about the summer cruise that's coming up, and we added a few pictures. Ryan added a few pictures to our little cruise thing that just shows sort of the kind of fun that could be had, including some pictures that I took in the Turks and Caicos Islands with John Haas many years ago.
Right.
Because I don't know if a lot of you have ever been there, but one of the destinations is the Turks and Caicos Islands, and it is really one of the most spectacular beach front areas I've ever seen. The color of the water is turquoise blue. The sand is like talcum powder. It's the finest grains of sand. I can't even call them sand. It's such a great thing. Great stuff. So having said that, Ryan, you want to, do you have that ready to rock and roll? He does.
So for the people that don't know, this is a cruise that Todd and I did last year with all of you, and then this year it's going to be actually in 2025, and so it's in June 2025 this year, and we're going to just show you what you can expect, and maybe you'd like to come aboard in 2025 with us. It's going to be super fun.
Are we playing the Love Boat music?
I don't know.
Sisters. Many people try to split us up, but no one can. No one can. Lord help the mister who comes between me and my sister. And Lord help the Mr. Sister who comes between me and my man.
We don't do this number.
No.
Getting Tennessee is we rehearse.
Obviously, that was me telling stories, running film clips, and Kat did her show as well. Oh, Joe.
There we are.
That's them. You know what I mean? Like you might see them in other situations. There are plenty of talk shows, like there's that one with Oprah Winfrey and such, and you would see them interacting differently than this. But I mean, that was really kind of nice to see them truly the way they were with each other. It wasn't always like this, I can tell you. I mean, I was the middleman for a decade, and it was nice to see Carrie finally sort of go, oh, like an epiphany, like this person, there's no competition here, this person loves me. You know, it was my biggest supporter ever. Not only did she bring me on the planet, but she's continued to support me in every way. There's like no bigger fan on this planet than my mother was to Carrie.
That was cool. So there was some new pictures in there.
There are, and
I
just
know
want
you have something to say, but I
do.
must say
Yes.
that I just want to point out that you notice how the cruise ship said Todd and Kat.
You know, I actually did notice
and
that.
I was thinking, like, see, they got it right. I mean, what can I say? Now, the show, you know, because Kat is the dominant person here.
I am the what is it called? The alpha feline.
No,
and
no,
also I
you're
started the show.
You're the matriarch.
I am the
It's her
matriarch.
show.
But
So I
when-
am just here as a guest. Well, sort of. An honored guest.
No,
of sorts.
you're. This is our show.
I know.
Last night.
I'm teasing.
But here's the thing: if you want more information on that, you just write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com. You saw that at the end of the video, and Ryan will send you links for more information, when it is, how much it is. It's really a fun time. I do my show on the ship. We have movies. We have Q&As. We do a lot of stuff together.
And they're turning over the whole theater to us again.
And they're turning the ship theater over to us again. So it's just going to be really fun. And it's next June, so you can get more information if you write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com, and Ryan will take care of that for you. So I'm just super excited. What are we talking about next?
We're running into the Reagan Library discussion.
Oh, by the way, before we do, Kyle, our wonderful producer, he's got his homecoming dance tonight. He's not here tonight, so Ryan's taking over his stuff. But I just wanted to give a shout out to Kyle because he's a senior this year and he's so smart. And he does such a great job of producing the segments and things for us with Seth. And, he's just great. So happy homecoming, Kyle.
I think he's an associate producer because Ryan's really acting more in the producer.
Yeah, no, Ryan and Seth do get the producer credits for sure. But Kyle works his tail feathers off, and he is just so talented, and he's so young, and he's at his homecoming dance. And I forgot about homecoming dances because I don't think I ever went to one
I did
when
not
I
either.
was in
I
high
didn't go to
school.
one either.
So,
But I do want to go to one soon.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking about it.
I'm going to my high school reunion in a few weeks.
So
My
I could come
50th. Oh my gosh. Where's the time go? I'll be in Fort Lauderdale, Florida in 2 weeks.
All right, so
for my reunion.
So on to the Reagan Library.
Yes, here we go. So the Reagan Library we went to this week. It was a busy week for us, and Todd did the press for the Carrie part of the Star Wars exhibit. So it's called Becoming Princess Leia, and it's so beautiful. And the Reagan Library and Museum I mean, when you see the way that they build sets for things and the way that they display things, it's like going to the Met. It is that unbelievable. In fact, I enjoy it more. And so that is going to be...
Actually, that's been the comment from some of the people.
Yeah,
that
it's
they like the
true.
new exhibit with the Carrie stuff because it's more personal.
Mm-hmm.
We've added a lot of personal stuff from our collection. Now, of the videos, Seth, are we running the one that you did first or the one that the Reagan Library did first? D.
Like, for which one would you like?
What would you like to?
We-
Well, let's run.
I think we should run the Reagan Library
I
first,
think
only
so too,
because you
because
go
you know
into
what?
the topics
If
before you see it.
are anywhere near Simi Valley, California, anywhere, I mean, even within some hours drive, it is so worth going to see, and you're about to see because it's just so
Well, and
fantastic.
what's cool about this is this video wasn't exactly planned this way. Last time I was there, like months ago, we shot some of these pieces in an effort just for me to identify and talk about certain things and get certain concepts out, a little bit of the why and when and how all of this occurred. And it ended up with me doing more this time. So when you added it all together, you have a mini documentary.
You do, but the Star Wars exhibit they have there, and it's only going to be there for what, 3 more
October
weeks?
13th.
Right,
October
but I'm
13th.
talking about the film that we're going to run.
Oh yes, this is so well done,
Right,
so
the
beautifully
film,
done.
It does a really good job of telling you why and how that came to be.
Mm-hmm.
It also shows pieces of the exhibit too, so you're going to see that as well. But it is sort of like for those of you that don't know my mother's story about saving Hollywood history, you're going to learn a little bit about that. There's a lot of information in a pretty small amount of time. I think they did a great job. In fact, I tried to get Randy, let's see if he sent me the names. I asked if they would send me the names of the guys that edited this together, but I don't see it here. So they're going to have to go without credit. But the folks, the audiovisual people at the Reagan Library put this together, obviously with me sitting there doing
So
the interviews.
talented.
But they did a great job, so
Yeah.
let's rock and roll, baby.
Okay.
My mother was the largest collector of Hollywood memorabilia in the world, and it began when the great studio systems, MGM, 20th Century Fox, etc., began to liquidate and be broken apart. Kirk Kerkorian purchased MGM Studios and then broke it up for its value in pieces, sold off the real estate, the back lots, and all of the artifacts, the costumes, the props, the sets, the riverboats, everything including the rose bushes. My mother single-handedly took it upon herself to try to save this stuff. She was kind of ridiculed, saying that she was just saving a bunch of junk. And my sister and I caught that infectious sort of passion. And we began helping her collect along the way. My sister, of course, probably less so than myself. I got very into it. I went to all the auctions with her at MGM and watched the greatest movies and costumes in the world being liquidated. Getting to how we get to a Star Wars collection is interesting because Carrie lands this part in this B science fiction film and goes to England to make this B movie. And my mother would send me along a lot of times to chaperone Carrie in different ways, kind of keep an eye on things. And so I visited her a couple of times during the processing of this. But the reports basically early on, before I even got there, were that she had no clue what was going on. I mean, to her, the sets were kind of cheesy. Half the stuff was missing. And so she really was left with a concern that this might not be the film of her dreams. Some time goes by, because obviously it takes time to finish the special effects and things, but I get a call one day. She says, I'm going to go over tonight to the 20th Century Fox lot, and we're going to see a screening of Star Wars. Will you be accompany me? I'm kind of nervous. I was like, yeah, sure, let's go. So we go over to 20th Century Fox, which is right down off go near New City. And she's changed smoking in the parking lot, and she's like, man, this is like the end of my career. I mean, I know I don't have like a giant career yet, but this could be it. I'm like, look, can we please go in? I mean, the movie's started. Okay, fine. The lights are already down. We come in the dark. There's no seats left except the front row. We sit in the front row. Battle cruiser flies over, and we had to literally lean our heads back because we were in the front row. And I looked over and I said, this is something special. Everybody roared through the movie, and then at the end of the movie, everybody applauded. It was like this huge reaction like that I don't remember seeing maybe ever in a movie.
Now, the next day or two, we were going to go to Grauman's for the real opening. And I was standing at the front of the Grauman's Chinese Theater with Carrie. We saw people camping out on the streets. It was revolutionary. I mean, it truly was. And here's something that's interesting that we thought of at that moment. My mother was 19 years old when she made Singing in the Rain. And that was one of the most revolutionary / classic musicals of all time. And Carrie was 19 when she made Star Wars. I think that's kind of an interesting parallel that our mother had programmed Carrie to be this princess. Carrie is Princess Leia. They are the same. A lot of people think like George created this princess, and he did, obviously, with the dialogue and everything, but words on a page don't mean much until somebody says it, because this leads us to the first artifact, which is Carrie's scripts that are here. And they're signed to her from George Lucas, and each inscription says something different. So the scripts were salvaged by my mother. Carrie saw no value in any of this stuff and had thrown the scripts away. My mother took the scripts out of the trash cans and sent them to George, who signed them to Carrie. And then she had them bound for Carrie. She used to get a lot of the stuff and she didn't want any of it. It just meant nothing to her. So she would give a lot of it, throw it away, some cases, or think it was important enough to give to my mother or to me. Now she knew I had a firearms collection, so she gave me some of her weapons. So we ended up with some of the guns of hers. We ended up with Medal of Yarman that we brought to you, which actually goes with the dress you have on display as well. The first thing that I collected from Star Wars, having nothing to do with Carrie and my mother, was I had salvaged her director's chair from the first Star Wars film. And the reason why, I'd never really seen a European director's chair before. They're very different than American type of director's chairs. So I had salvaged the chair. Subsequently, we found pictures of her sitting in it and other people, George, and everybody had one. Well, segue forward when we were doing Revenge of the Jedi. That was filmed in the United States. So those sequences were shot out on the beach with the metal bikini scene. I tried to get the metal bikini. We couldn't get anybody to part with anything. And along the way, Carrie acquired things that kind of went with that. So we have a beautiful oil painting of Carrie in the metal bikini. It's spectacular, and the artist gave it to Carrie. And we have other still pictures and things that were given, and we had the script, but we just did not have the costume. So, but I don't know, maybe a year or two ago, one of them came up for auction, and I was able to buy that. So we recently acquired that, so we brought that along for the ride. And I also have a prototype lightsaber they made for her for the last film, and it's got her name laser etched in it. And I believe that they were going to have a little different role for her, but she passed away before they were able to film the last film. So when you look at that artifact, you have to think to yourself, you know, what would have been? Was she going to be the last Jedi? Cool. My mother collected for the people, not for herself. She had the artifacts so that other people could experience the history of the film. They could connect to the artifact. The artifact is the tangible. It's the thing that remains. It's the thing that was worn or touched by the person that may no longer be with us. So to me, anytime you can share these things with the public, that's the dream that my mother always had. So I'm merely carrying on the dream. That is what we were infected with, that dream. Isn't that nicely done?
I just think that everything they do is done with such love and class, and you know, and it's just an incredible place to spend a day. I mean, it really is. So if you are anywhere near it, and you love anything to do with Star Wars, if you love, you know, the Reagan era, the Reagan time, Ronald Reagan's life, if you saw the movie, then you know it's really about his life and growing up. I mean, if you love any of those things, you are going to have one of the best days of your life over there, because there's just so much to see. And the Star Wars exhibition and the Carrie exhibition are worth it just on their own. So you have until October 13th to see it, right?
What's cool is I was having a chat with some of the people at the Reagan Library the other day, and I said, you know, the name Reagan Library really doesn't justify what this is.
Well, I only saw it for the first time in my life about 5 years ago because someone said, you have to see this. And I thought, what's there to see? It's the Reagan Library. And when I got there, it was so staggering to me to see Air Force One and all the Oval Office and all the memorabilia.
Where are the books? You know, because they think it's a library.
Right.
And there are a few books, but it's the presidential archive, first and foremost. All presidents, ever starting, I think, with Richard Nixon, they began the library program. The federal government pays for presidential libraries to be maintained, and then there's private money that is brought to bear to help with these larger storytelling exhibits. And I consider this to be the Ronald Reagan experience, because you learn everything about his journey to the presidency, which is remarkable. His journey is off the charts. I was speaking to Michael Reagan on the phone, and he said, you know, we have similar lives. And I was like, how so? And he said, well, you know, our mothers, you know, both were famous movie stars and Academy Award winning movie stars. And then bigger things happened. You know, in this case, his father went on to be president. But in my case, you know, my sister went on to become a famous icon as well. So we're having multiple family members do big things. I guess in that sense, we're similar. But there's really nothing quite like the Reagan thing, because Reagan, first of all, in my opinion, is an underrated actor. A lot of the movies you'll watch of Ronald Reagan are not great movies that not even any good actor could have salvaged the dialogue out of. You know how you always talk about that.
Oh my God, sometimes you just can't survive the material. No, that's absolutely true.
And he was stuck at a studio where they didn't quite know what to do with him. There's a lot of competition. You got Errol Flynn and all these big actors. They didn't quite know what to do. But there's a movie called King's Row that he plays a very large supporting role in. And I think it's award-winning material. His reactions through life experience in that movie really almost emulates what happened to him in real life in terms of, you know, conflict and drama and overcoming things. He became so famous for the phrase, "it can be done." And I, of course, love that phrase.
Well, it's all over our house.
It's all over our house.
that phrase is all over our house. It's in our car.
But you know, now in our family, it was spoken a little differently.
Well, good morning, everybody.
It is the words. There is no word can't in your vocabulary.
Yep.
So that was my grandfather's way of saying it can be done. It's just like you cannot say it can't. Well, I guess there's similar things in many ways. But anyway, I just don't want people to underrate him as an actor, especially when you consider he went on to play the ultimate role as President of the United States. I mean,
yep.
My goodness.
Well, that's why the movie's so great, to show how a person can come from the most humble beginnings and achieve the highest honor in the world, and all the stories along the way. And that's why I love the movie so much.
But when you look at this movie, The King's Row, his charm, he was probably in his 20s. Mm-hmm. His smile and his charm, it's magnetic. So he has it. Yeah. The thing that they always talk about.
No, it's called the it factor.
The it factor.
Yeah.
He has it. His smile, his charm jumps off that screen. So no wonder when he's up there debating against the likes of Richard Nixon, he just puts the guy away. You know, I mean, he becomes, and then later, was it Mondale, I guess? You know, and he says, I'm not going to let my opponent's lack of experience
and age.
Take advantage of my opponent's lack of experience. And everybody was like, what a genius line. Even Mondale, who he's saying about it, had to laugh. I mean, and isn't that the beautiful thing where you could say something quasi, you know, I guess you'd say combative, but it was so funny and charming.
Well, the way it was said, of course. Now we have another video that we want to play. So, Seth, are you queuing that one up? Or okay, here we go.
Was that the one we heard a little preview of a second ago?
Is this our trip to LA this West?
This is, well, it's a very...
Are you on a microphone, or are you just talking in thin air again?
Like talking to the air.
He has this thing about talking to thin air.
I know. It's like I never held a microphone in my life, but
I didn't even...
Those are our neighbors.
We have a live audience.
Yes, right. We have a live audience.
I didn't recognize
our new
them.
neighbors are here.
Well, we are glad to have new neighbors.
Yes. And they brought me a new chicken yesterday.
Oh, that's where that came
That's
from.
right.
Well,
So
can't
I
thank
have
her
a
for that.
new chicken. She's so beautiful. Yep.
She actually is really pretty.
She
Are we
really
gonna
is.
bring her out for
Oh,
show
I'll
and tell?
bring her up. Yep.
Okay, just checking.
Okay, so set this one up.
But yeah, this is from partially. We have about 2 hours of footage from that trip to LA.
We're gonna
so
make you watch all of it
No,
tonight.
Yes,
no,
so
nonstop.
you
he
can-
cut it down
starting
to a
now.
couple of minutes.
you can subscribe for a fee of $200 to
Oh,
see
my
our.
Watch
gosh.
2 hours of us wandering around the library.
Yes, but anyway, well, we will actually post the whole clip later on the YouTube channel this coming week, as well as our trip to
It'll
the
be cut
neon
down.
sign. But yes,
He'll make
Here's
it
the
tolerable.
Cliff Notes
but this is the
version
really, really short
of,
version.
of
Really,
the
really
madness of our trip.
Yes. Okay.
All
here
right,
we
you're
go.
on.
Well, good morning, everybody. How is everyone doing this morning in lovely Simi Valley, California?
There's Floyd.
We're good. I think we're moving a little bit slow today because we had a fantastic night at the Magic Castle. And so we got in late and we woke up this morning, and the one thing that propels us for sure is the excitement about going to the Reagan Library to see what they have done with the exhibit for Carrie and becoming Princess Leia. So we're very excited because we're on our way there now. But good morning, everybody.
Well, we will see you in there, and this is Hoda Kotb saying good morning, California.
We're here at the Reagan Library, and Randy is here to give us a personal tour. He's our very good friend now, because of fate, and he's about to show us for the first time the upgraded Star Wars Carrie Fisher.
Well, and this is the portion that we did specifically for you and for Carrie, for your mom, and and all of you too.
There you go.
We don't get a chance to do this very often, so this is special. So come along. I want to see everybody's reaction. And about 10%-ish larger than real life. Okay, so people often will ask me that question because bronzes, you make them exactly life size, they look a little diminutive. So they typically are a little larger.
And she has high heels.
See, I have to even put on my glasses to read all of this, too. Oh, I like
Took
it.
all the
Quote. We
notes.
always like having Carrie quotes. See, now, I just sort of said that, but nobody could say it as well as Carrie. So it says up here, I got to be the only girl in an all-boy fantasy. And it's a great role for a woman. She's very proactive character and gets the job done. So if you're going to get to typecast as something, that might as well be it for me. And that is that the truth, though, with Carrie? You know, she really... But, you know, I've always gone back to the fact that I knew Carrie better than anybody. And or maybe my mother, an exception of. You know, she was that character. It's like as if Clint Eastwood was acting in the early Westerns. I mean, he was just playing himself. That's how I feel about Carrie in these movies. In many ways, it was just playing herself. Now, of course, you're in a science fiction environment, but still, that says it all. But isn't it kind of funny to be an all-boy fantasy? Now, by the time we got to Jedi, they were really taking advantage of that. And that's why I had to have the bathing suit. I love it. How did Carrie get to Star Wars? Like, you know, and I alluded earlier that it was part of my mother's thing to program Carrie, to help her in her career. So early on, we performed in Las Vegas and different things. As I lost interest, Carrie continued to love interest in performing live, and so she did the play Irene with my mother. And I was there, but I didn't perform in it. These are really cool pictures of Carrie, you know, in the play. This is the poster of the play. During that time, though, we visited with the Reagans, which was unique, because there's a picture up there of the Reagans backstage during Irene. And we grew up around the Reagans. That they would come to a lot of charity events that my mother would do, and we loved them and knew them. And we had no idea that he would ever be president. That was like, you know, because as Carrie and I were growing up, we were little kids around him, and then he became governor, and I was like, wow, this guy, a minute ago he was an actor, now he's a governor, that's pretty impressive. And then a minute later, he's president of the United States. My mother really loved the Reagans, and so there was a great connection there. Only in Hollywood can you go from being like an actor in like, you know, nothing earth-shaking movies to become president of the United States. Only in Hollywood can you become like this little girl backstage with your mother to becoming the princess
in a science fiction film that affected the world.
This is like going to the Met. This is how good these exhibits are. I mean, this is beyond whatever I imagined it was going to be, and it's just beautiful. So if you come in this room, this is the new room, and it's Carrie's journey to Princess Leia. Here is the personal items that when I go see anything in a museum, I always want to see the personal things. And so this is all from Todd's collection. And there's that was next to Debbie's bed forever, the framed picture of that particular one visiting her on the set. I think that might have been, which set would maybe How the West Was Won or The Mating Game. Yes, I was going to say The Mating Game, because she still has straw in her hair from the Tony Randall scene. And then, of course, all these little artifacts, and Carrie would talk, very amusingly about being a Pez dispenser and having the candy come out of her neck. Awards, and this is just Carrie's glasses, which is really great. I collect myself, and so I always have before I even met Todd. And so anything personal like that always meant a great deal to me. So I think people enjoy coming to see those things. So this one room is something, if you're a Carrie Fisher fan, or a Debbie Reynolds fan for that matter, this room will make you very happy. So come see it out here in beautiful Simi Valley at the Reagan Library and Museum. And if you've never been here, fasten your seatbelt, because this is a full day ride, and it is worth every inch will captivate you. So we'll see you here, okay?
If it wasn't for my mother, there wouldn't be any collection at all, because Carrie, back in the 70s and 80s, threw her stuff in the trash, like her scripts and all the stuff that you're about to see on display was not saved by Carrie or I. We weren't even thinking about it. My mother was digging stuff out of the trash can. So some of what you're going to see literally was in the trash can, and my mother retrieved it. So there wouldn't be a collection of any sort if it wasn't for the mother, Debbie Reynolds. Really, the queen bee. If she's the princess, Debbie was the queen. There you have it.
I love it. The queen. She was the queen. She still is a queen. I love it.
No, I have show and tell.
That makes you a prince,
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, so I'm going to let you do your show and tell, and then I'm going to bring Ryan in. Actually, why don't we go ahead and bring Ryan in for the show and tell, and then we can go into
he's
the
here.
auction.
He's been with us all
I
along.
know, but I want to see his face because I miss him, and everybody loves and misses.
Our heavenly
There he
producer
is.
from Philadelphia.
That's well from Annville, Pennsylvania, live. Ryan Clements, I love you and miss you.
Hello. Happy
Hi.
Saturday, everybody. Happy Saturday.
Look at how pretty your man cave looks.
Look at that cool picture up there of Carrie, too.
Well, you don't see it on the other side of the computer. Let's put it that way.
Boy,
It looks good
do
from
we
your
know.
perspective.
That's all that matters. That's how Hollywood works.
Yep.
Only
That's
one
exactly
side
right.
matters.
And you have your signed Carrie Fisher up there, don't you?
She's displayed upstairs.
But I see something behind you.
Oh, there's new stuff.
Oh, that's a painting.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's
Oh, that's
beautiful.
artwork. Leslie Reynolds did that.
Oh my, that's Todd's cousin, Leslie, Uncle
Todd
Bill's
gave
daughter.
Todd gave that to me years ago.
26 years
she's so
ago.
talented. And she looks so much like Debbie, she really does.
Well, she's a Reynolds.
Yes,
That's
she
all there
is.
to it.
All right, so here
Okay.
we go. So Todd's going to do a little show and tell
Well,
because he has
we-
some.
Do you want to do the auctions first?
Yeah,
Maybe
you're
go
right.
over
Given the
Yeah,
time.
no, yeah,
We're
let's
only
do it.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
Review- so we're
outgoing,
going to
incoming,
review.
and I should
We'll review the auctions from last week, right?
yes, and let me just and before I'm going to jump off here and let Seth take over with that. But I wanted to mention the super people that we have in the chat.
Oh.
So if you're in the chat room right now and you've seen people, these little dollar amounts are popping up, that means that they have become what YouTube calls a super. So there's a little dollar sign right next to where you start typing, to the right of where you start typing. And if you click on that, you can give us $1, give us $2. And all of the money that, obviously goes in there comes back to us, and it funnels into all of these projects into the production of the show and so forth. So it all goes back to what you're seeing on screen.
Yeah, and can we mention some of the also, if you do donate any amount whatsoever, you go onto the Super Wheel, which is a chance to win a really
the
cool
Super Wheel.
prize, the Super Wheel. So
So
last
that's
week's
the extra prize.
That's right. So if you're in the room, you're going to be on the wheel, and we're going to give away 6 prizes at the end of the show. And if you donate at all, then you go into the Super Wheel, which anybody that donates tonight goes on the Super Wheel for next week. So right now, in a few minutes, we're going to, do that. But I want to just say thank you to the people who have donated today. I'm seeing Frank Ferruccio. I'm seeing Frank twice. I'm seeing Barb Kevern. Thank you. Andrea Sodman, Mary O'Connor, Elizabeth Gandy. Andrea Sodman again, thank you so much. Terry Dixon, thank you. Debbie Starr Jackson, thank you. John Greer, thank you so much. Ferruccio, there you are again, and thank you. Debbie Lewis, Angela Cribben, Kat McGowan, Dwayne Shell, thank you, Dwayne, so much. And John Eric St. James, hello, John. I didn't know you were here. It's so good to see you. Nicole Talencio, Elizabeth Gandy, gosh. Barb Badalamenti, Brett and John, Barb Kevern, Deborah Willett, and Debbie Lewis. I hope I didn't miss anybody. There's something at the top that says Brett and John. Yes, there you are. Thank you, Brett and John. And this is from Australia.
Do you know that actually,
So, wow.
we actually have a lot of viewers in Australia, or these are
No,
friends
we
of
do.
yours, but it showed up as a dominant country for us.
England, and we have Germany, we have the Germans, and we have the Australians. So a lot of people watch from all over the world, and we're so grateful for all of our viewers because you make it so that we can do this show and keep it all going because it's so important for the legacy of these two incredible ladies and really all of Hollywood.
Now, did we explain what the Super? So by hitting that little button, you get into the Super Wheel and get a separate prize will be given for that. Now, last week
I like
we
tonight's
gave away-
prize. I won't even talk about it, but
No,
last
we
week's
have a
people.
special prize from last week.
Yeah, and so if you donate tonight, you'll be on next week's Super Wheel, and that has far less people on it. You have a great chance of
And
winning.
then anybody that makes a comment actually is in the normal giveaway.
That's right. So if you're watching and you haven't made a comment, make a comment so we can get you on the prize wheel we'll be doing at the end of the show. And so I'll just go ahead and then throw that off to whoever goes next to talk about the auction items that were last week.
Yeah,
and
what
then
happened
this
on
week.
the auctions item? So we're doing last week's first, right? Or we're about to close out on last week's stuff. Yes, last week's. Is that stuff over there?
Closes out in 14 minutes
okay,
actually.
so what is it? Those are new items.
Well,
there,
what I'll
Pat.
do is
Okay.
I'll go ahead and pull it up on my little screen here, and then we can.
We can look. Let's go through them quickly because I don't
Yeah.
want to bore
So if you
everybody
cut to
with
my
these
screen,
items.
we'll show the folks
No,
at
we're going to
home.
be over here. There they are. So which one? Just pick one and go.
Okay, so the first one is this
All right.
Marilyn
A pair
Monroe.
of Marilyn Monroe, Frank Worth prints. I've shown these. Obviously, most of you know what these are by now, but if you don't, Frank Worth is famous.
If you can get a little closer on those, because they do have
he can
another.
click on the
they have
item.
13 minutes left if they want to put a bid on
Well,
these.
where are the items?
They should be up here.
No, well, she's got today's stuff, but not last week's stuff.
They didn't get moved to my knowledge.
It's okay if it's not around. We don't want to waste time.
Okay, so we have the Frank Worth, and they are stamped by the Frank Worth estate, and they're both Marilyn Monroe. I can't see them from where I am. Because I don't have my glasses on.
No,
see
they
what
are. They're
from.
both Monroe.
Okay, perfect.
All right, and the next, let's just move along.
Well, let's see what those are up to right now. I cannot see because it's too small from where I am. Seth, can you see?
Right now they are up to $90.
$90.
So-
So if
so
you want to
Frank,
bid on that,
And these prints, by the way, can go upwards in the hundreds of
Oh,
dollars each.
absolutely. They're
So
very
it's
good
so
investments, I
we
think.
just happened to
Yeah.
have stumbled on a nice little stash. This is an original one-sheet poster of Debbie from My Six Loves. It's in really nice shape. Some minor blemishes. That was sitting, I saw that in the chair next to Kat, but it doesn't really matter because we don't have to show it better than that. It was there, but it got moved.
yeah.
So, interesting enough,
But you can see it pretty well. I mean,
is
the
that the
picture
stuff
is
back
very
there?
good.
It doesn't really matter. Just stay with it. We don't want to waste time.
Yeah, there you go.
I would show it to you, but you all know how big a regular one-sheet poster is. In fact, There are several of them on the set around us. So if you look at those posters down around the front of the set, that's the size that they are. So anyway, it's a fun little movie, My Six Loves, but not like super famous, but I think it's a lot of fun.
Exactly. And what is that up to?
$75.
$75. So if you have like maybe 10 minutes,
And
if
this
you
one
wanna
was
bid
never
on it.
framed or anything. This was folded in mint
Yes.
condition. So unlike some of them that we've been putting up that were at DR Studios, this never got hung. I think we had 2 of them. This was just put away. Next item.
And that is to the left
Okay,
of
so
you.
this was a signed Debbie Tammy photo with Leslie Nielsen, who of course is hilarious. And what a great job he does in this movie with my mom. I think this is such a cute movie. Not just because she recorded the song Tammy, but they're just so cute together. Walter Brennan plays her father, who's going away for bootlegging or something silly like that. And then she ends up with the older man, which seems to be a kind of a tradition in her life after that point. She didn't have to take it literally and get with Harry Carl. All right, so there's that. Next item is that's a signed piece.
What's that up to? 130. So there you go.
And then the last item, there are 4 items, is a silver-plated serving bowl. I showed this last week. It's a very beautiful
It's right to
bowl.
the.
Oh,
Look,
this
right
one
there.
is up here, eh?
Look right to the
it's
left of you
underneath
on the
the
ground.
table.
Aha.
There you go.
Oh, and that would mean that the Leslie Nielsen print is here too. Come back to me. There you go. So there's the Leslie Nielsen. This was a DR Studios piece, by the way. It's got the DR Studios frame and glass, and this can be shipped without it being destroyed.
Well, no, the glass has to be
No,
taken out.
I don't think so.
believe.
No,
It's
not in
small
an
one.
8x10.
This
That'll
is-
be
but
okay.
on
They
the
were
posters
complaining.
we do.
They were complaining about the big ones. Here's
Yeah.
the serving bowl. It's a really cool piece from the Greenway House. Is not sterling. If it was, it'd be ridiculously expensive, of course. But it looks classy, and if it was at the Greenway House, you know,
Oh, it's beautiful.
yeah, you know that this was a nice piece. So that's the final auction item for today. It's closing in
Yep.
like 10 minutes.
10 minutes exactly.
10 minutes exactly. Are we just going to quickly go to the new items and move on?
Sure, they're right on the side of Kat. So
All
if we
right.
want to get on
Right.
Kat and she
So
can show
which one
them.
do
Just
you
hand
wanna
them to me
start
one at a
with?
time. I'll cover it
Okay.
as quickly as I can.
All
now,
right.
where's
And
the
those-
spoon? You have the spoon with this?
No, we don't have a spoon with
Oh,
that
yes,
one.
we do. They all had spoons.
Oh,
We have silver spoons with these.
well, then they'll get a silver spoon with
You'll get a
it.
silver spoon. This was the Debbie. We've done this before. Where we found a couple of these. They're hand-painted little tea, mainly for sugar, is what she used it for. But you could use it for serving else with things. And here, I'll go to the close-up camera.
I love how your mom always liked to have her tea out of a real
Well, this is
China
very,
teacup.
very fine china.
Yeah, she
In fact, I'm
loved
afraid
her
to kind of
tea.
hold it the way I'm holding it. But anyway, it's very delicate. And we do have a sterling silver little sugar spoon that went in here.
That'll be in the photograph.
Right. Well, she did use it for sugar, but that's not to say you couldn't even put your soup in there.
So these can all be found on the.
They will be
They will be on the Debbie Reynolds.
Let's get through this.
studio store this
studiostore.com.
evening, yes.
Yes.
So
this evening.
here's a Frank Worth. Now this is a cool one because this is Debbie with Donald O'Connor, which is rare. We only had a couple of these, period, and obviously one set is staying in the archives. But they're sitting in front of it looks like a Triumph or an MG, and Debbie's jumping up and down, probably around the time of I Love Melvin.
That
is what I'm going to guess.
picture is so adorable.
But so classic Frank Worth too.
Yeah, yeah.
And you could see that estate stamp on there as I reflected in the light down on this corner or the other corner right there.
You know, how many years were they friends?
Well, Donald and her, they were lifelong friends till the end for him. So my mom, they stayed lifelong friends. They met my mother was 19,
And they
remained-
performed together all till the end.
Yeah, even in Vegas
Right.
and otherwise. What's this?
I
Oh,
don't know.
that's where they went. That's Marilyn.
Okay, here.
Oh, that's
knew
the
she was
Marilyn that we
hanging
just did.
around.
Okay.
All
right, give me-
There you go.
All right.
So which is which? That's.
That's next, yeah.
All right, well, now this is interesting because we're doing a My Six Love poster, but here is what's called a window card. It's much smaller, but this is signed, which makes this pretty rare. So you've got a window card, which is easier to deal with if you don't have wall space. A lot of people, like myself, I have a lot of wall space, but it's cluttered.
No, we had a lot of wall space.
Well, and it,
Well, but we'll just keep building,
I
adding on.
I
to
live in
the-
a
You know,
poster museum, and
but
it
when
is
you-
quite amazing.
when we set everything down to the museum and the Reagan Library, we sent like 10, 15 posters, emptied the walls and filled them all up again in like 24
I know.
hours.
I came home. I went to dinner. There was nothing left on the walls because it's all at the museum. And when I came home from dinner, The walls were full again of new posters. I just could not believe
But
that
I mean,
you had
some
those
cool
somewhere.
stuff you have to admit. And yes, he's right. It was all buried back there.
Okay.
I see the other. All right, now this is a DR Studios piece. He has the frame for this, right?
No, the frame was in pieces, so we don't
No,
have
but
the
the glass was broken, but the frame is, the wood was still
Well, we
there.
could send it in the
If
frame.
you wanted the wood frame, this was a DR Studios piece. Really cool Technicolor movie, Susan Hayward. Tulsa, obviously about Oklahoma and the oil boom. And you can see she's, they were touting the fact that she was famous from With a Song in My Heart. So she was really a relatively new star. So having said that, this is a really fun, campy kind of piece. And it's
You know what I love about it? It has that old kind of circus feel to it.
well, this was the
I
look.
mean, no,
they were,
I
they
know,
were famous for
but
these
I just
looks.
paid a lot of money to have my posters done to look
You
like
told
And we
that.
could have just
Emulate
put
that.
your
to emulate that.
we could have
so-
just put your
for my
face on
show,
Susan
yes.
Hayward.
Yes. And
All right,
then,
so, no, that's already
No,
been
that's
done.
last
Okay,
week's
but let's
auction.
just-
That
That's
was
where
only
it
Put
was.
it right there.
We're
That's that.
sliding into second.
We're
Okay.
good.
So now we can move on.
Well, what's great is that, but you need to let people know how they can bid on these things because there's new people.
Ah,
here
well,
tonight.
that's right. So I just always assume everybody knows this. Now, our
Yes.
neighbors are here, and they've been wondering what was going on over at this property. They hear noises like Willy Wonka's chocolate factory, these sounds, bird noises.
Oh, they hear lots of bird
so
noises.
They actually showed up to see what was going on in this building, and I don't blame them because I'm glad they came personally instead of just calling the police. So now they know what's going on, they can relax. So today, we knew this was going to run along because we had a lot of catching up to do. So I've kept the show and tell to a relatively small thing. Did you find any more pictures to go with this?
With this, what you're about to
This
show?
is the tender trap thing.
Yes, I did.
All right. So I'm going to tell a story that goes with this. Many years ago, my mother made a movie called The Tender Trap with Frank Sinatra.
You can cut to
the famous thing about this movie, you can go to the close-up camera over here, Buck, for a second. There she is with Frank Sinatra, and that sign to her, it says, "To Debbie, what fond love, Frank Sinatra." And I signed that to her in '84, but the movie obviously was from the 50s. And this is right before my mother met my father. And you could see there's a good 15 years difference in age between my mother and Frank. And so my mother was told by Frank, "I'd like to give you some brotherly advice." Now, this is important advice that all brothers and parents want to hand down to their daughter. You know, you want them to marry the right man and find the right man. So Frank was being a real gentleman, even though he was the love interest in this movie. And just a side note, my mother said that, just a side note now, and I didn't say this, she did. He said that Frank was a great kisser. So for those of you wondering if Frank Sinatra is a great kisser, according to my mother, he was. So, having said that, he said to her, "Now look, Debbie, I want to give you some advice, more like the brotherly advice. Whatever you do, don't marry a singer." So the very next year, of course, she meets my father, who's a famous singer, and she marries a singer. So much for listening to Sinatra. Now, the good news is, had she listened to Sinatra, I wouldn't be here talking to you, telling you these stories. So maybe that's good news or bad news. Obviously, bad news for me. The picture that you just saw, though, segue. If you go back to the picture for 1 second, Buck, the close-up. You could see in the upper right corner, there's a microphone they're singing into. Now you can come back to me. So here is that microphone that they're singing into. Now I acquired this microphone from 20th Century Fox from an auction that they had. This is a rare microphone just as far as collectible microphones are concerned. We can go to the close-up camera. Probably better in certain respects. There you go. Now this is a tube microphone that was really designed in the 40s.
Did you get a good look at that? That is absolutely amazing.
Well, and they would hang them upside down and sing into them like this.
And the sound of a Neumann.
Well, so this was actually, originally Neumann was owned by a company called Telefunken. And at the end of World War II, the Americans had a program in place called the Marshall Plan. And General Marshall was one of our top generals, was tasked with rebuilding Germany and Japan. And so the Marshall Plan was instituted to try to get businesses restarted in Germany and Japan. So one of the businesses was radios. Germans are great at electronics and radios, and so they were making a lot of radios for the war. And they didn't know what to do with all of these tubes that they had. They literally had made like thousands of tubes for these radios that were going to go to war. And as you know, things get broken in wartime, so they needed a lot of extra tubes, needless to say. So at the end of the war, they're looking at all these tubes, and they go, well, we'll design a microphone, and there's a place for that market. So they built this, which is really a large microphone, but in those days, mics were large. They had ribbon microphones. But this was an electronic tube mic, which is rare design. And they put these German leftover World War II tubes in here. And when they first did it, the tubes were some of them were very noisy, but some were not. So they realized that they needed to hire all these extra people to sort through thousands of tubes, and they put a little M, for whatever reason, on the ones that were quiet. So they tested every single tube by hand, and the ones that were quiet went into these microphones. Well, these microphones became the most famous microphone for vocals ever. To this day, this is the most sought-after vocal microphone. And this mic was designed in the late 40s. Frank Sinatra, all the greatest records you've ever heard were recorded on these mics. Even the Beatles' Abbey Road and many, many records all the way up and through the 60s. To this day, people want to sing into this mic. Interestingly enough, the reason why this mic sounded so good was a mistake. They tried to build replicas of this microphone over the years. Many companies tried, and they couldn't do it. And the reason why they couldn't do it is because the reason why the mic sounded the way it sounded, it was a mistake. They underpowered the tube by mistake. And by underpowering the tube, it gave it a certain quality. It kind of amplified the harmonics in the voice in a very desirable way. And so no one knew how to duplicate it because no one knew how they even got there. So the rarity of this mic speaks for itself. And of course, it's important to me because, I mean, my mom and Frank are singing in it, and I recently recorded a little tribute song to my mother and sister, and we did the vocals into this. So it continues to have a fun legacy. Now, having said that, Seth has some still pictures that we could look at. So why don't we put those on and I'll talk over them. How's that sound? Rock and roll, hit it. Okay, there's some pictures. Okay, obviously this is during the movie. And what was funny about this movie is, he's trying to teach her how to sing better. Keep going. You can just go, I'll say go. That was his apartment, and this is when they're starting to, fall in love and whatnot. Keep going. And there, I guess, it's still, now that looks like a behind the scenes picture, actually. Isn't that the director, I believe, right there? I think that's, by the way, Charles Walters, who directed her in several things, was, I believe, the director of this movie. And they became good lifelong friends, Charles Walters and my mom. So keep going. And there they are on the couch. This is a funny scene because she starts bossing him around, I believe. So they're very cute together. I mean, it was a very interesting dynamic for a younger, older man romance. Go. Up, back behind the scenes again. What is that? I don't know what it looks like a radio, maybe? A miniature record player or a radio, one or the other. So that's behind the scenes, obviously. That was definitely not part of the movie. So they're behind the scenes. It's an interesting look for the two of them. Go. Still on with that sequence. These are just out of our archives. Is that it? Oh, there's one more, he says. Oh, the color one, yeah. Okay, that's cute. And this is the scene in that apartment where they had to kiss. And my mother was still pretty damn inexperienced at this point, according to my father anyway. And although Frank didn't complain, so what can I tell you? Who's at fault? Having said that, come back to me. Okay, I'll come back to myself. The movie is also, Warner's put out The Tender Trap, both on regular DVD and on Blu-ray. But this is the remastered version that did come out. So if you want to see The Tender Trap, it's coming out. Now that's the perfect segue, right, Ryan? Mr. Ryan.
He is. Can I just give a quick shout out?
Yes, I have a lot going on the back end. So yes, that is the perfect segue.
And what we're segueing into is, as you've noticed the last couple of weeks, we've talked about Warner Brothers sponsoring the show. We're also building a channel right now with Warner's and their distributor, so you can get the Debbie movies online. And then we're going to do a box set that we all designed. And I want you to be involved in this. And Ryan put together a questionnaire that you can all fill out. and it gives a list of these Debbie movies and what formats they're on and what do you want to see come out and what would you want in a box set. Now, if we do a box set, it's going to be a certain amount of movies, but it's also going to be something else custom, so it'll be a numbered limited edition, and we'll do like the postcard sets that we did before where we had pictures of, say, the costumes, maybe the movie poster or something like that. So in the box set, we'd have a little card to go with each and every movie. And then maybe the estate and myself would sign off on the box set, and we do a numbered limited edition on a Debbie box set.
Oh, I think that's going to be great.
So your questions are going to be really three questions, I believe. What it was how many movies would you like to see in the box set? And then we did give you a list of which movies, and you can select which ones you'd like to see, whether or not you wanted them in Blu-ray or in regular DVD. Because they can do it both ways, but a lot of people want the newly remastered, higher quality product. And as you know, last week we did the Three Little Words movie that just came out. And so I wanted to hear, by the way, Ryan, did we ever find who got those movies? Or Seth, did you get those Three Little Words?
I have not had a chance to look yet, but I just did post the survey in the chat,
Really?
so it is available for people to fill out.
Guess what? The people didn't claim them from last week, so they're going to be...
Or one person didn't claim, excuse me, one person didn't claim.
All right, so we have one there for this week.
We have, we don't have it right here, but we can
I know where it is, though.
substitute it.
I have mine. You could always... We don't have to show it. We have, that means, the Three Little Words.
Yeah, we do have one.
Okay, so somebody didn't claim their gift foolishly.
No,
I mean,
no, they
imagine.
weren't. They probably left the show before it got announced. And you have to be in it to win it, baby. So there
That
you go.
girl knows her stuff.
Yes.
You have to be in it to win it. So that means that and that just came out. I mean, literally, like last week was the delivery of that. And as I told you before, they're going to start releasing things first to us. So we'll have things for you guys really early on in the release thing. But we also don't just have to do Debbie movies, although we're going to focus on that initially. So that means that one of the giveaways tonight is going to be one Blu-ray of
Three Little Words. That's right.
All right. So there's Seth on the set. What are we going to do,
Don't
guys?
show Seth.
Oh, well, what are
Wait
we
a minute.
doing? We're going to go into
We're
the giveaways?
going to, well, yes.
Ryan, do you want to show your little questionnaire? Oh, no, Ryan, show me the website that's going to be the thing we're going to do for the sales. You remember did you have that by chance? The thing I sent you?
The Warner Archive?
You remember
I can pull that up if you just if you can banter for just a moment.
Well, I
Banter.
would really like to thank some more donors
well, there
here.
you go.
Thank
Kat's
you so
gonna thank
much.
people. We know how long
Debbie
that
Starr
takes.
Jackson,
That
you
could be
are
any amount of time.
great. And we have Kate Maloney. That's a new name for me. Hi, Kate. It's good to have you here.
Donation from Scott and Troy.
Scott and Troy. Oh my gosh. Scott Michaels, I was talking about your show. Thank you so much for that donation. I was talking about your YouTube channel, Dearly Departed, earlier in the show. I don't know if you saw it, but we love your
Look
channel.
what's up on the screen.
So there you go. And then we'll come to that in a second. Cami Roundtree, thank you. Sherry King. And Scott and Troy, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. You're going to go on next week's Super Wheel, which is going to be a great prize as always. Latest Styles, Catherine Bradley. Hey, Catherine. Tony and Susie Miller's on the move. Cami Roundtree, Peppy's mom, Debbie Lewis, Deborah Willett. And we are just so grateful for all of you. Very, very grateful. So we're going to talk about this for 1 second. Then we're going to do the giveaways. Then we're going to do the super prize wheel.
So this is a mock-up of what the store, you're all familiar with the Debbie Reynolds Studio Store. So there'll be a page in the future that relates to DVDs and Blu-rays, and you'll be able to find all these titles through us. So we're making sure they keep them in stock for our people. We're going to fine-tune this, by the way. So we're going to be sending you more questions that have additional titles. If you go all the way to the bottom, Ryan, you'll notice they have bright lights on here as well as wishful drinking.
Right.
Which is nice that all those can be had because
So you can buy wishful drinking and bright lights because people ask about this all the time.
They do.
Yeah.
And even though, and we will be, this company, of course, is affiliated with Warner's, and Warner's Archives is sponsoring the show. And so there will continue to be giveaways as well.
Yep.
Although you'd have to stay on the show a long time to get all those movies. So you may have to break out the piggy bank and buy one or two of your own.
Okay, so we're going to do the giveaways. Now we're going to do the giveaways for, the general giveaways, which is anybody who has spoken today. Yeah, I want to go to this in a second. Anybody that has spoken today in the chat room, you are already on the big wheel, and so we will spin that 6 times and we'll do our giveaways, and after that we'll do the super wheel. So all of the donors from last week are those of you who donated last week. You are the only names on the super wheel, and we'll be doing that too. Anybody that donated tonight, you will be on next week's super wheel.
Now they've got this
Okay,
picture
so
up
I
already.
want to talk about this because
It's been up already for a long time.
He
But
is
nobody's seen
going
it.
to kill me.
well, you know what? I am so happy. Kyle's mom gave us this, and this is Kyle. He works his tail feathers off for this show, and he is at homecoming tonight. And I will say, Kyle, you did okay for yourself there.
Yeah.
You've got a very beautiful girl on your arm. You're adorable. You both are. And I would just like to say to Amy, Kyle's mom, what an amazing job and a mom you are, and job you are doing of raising your son, because he is such a great kid. And I always say, kids don't get that way by themselves. So good job, Amy. And
the proof is me.
exactly. So Kyle, I hope you see this. I miss you tonight, but I'm going to let it go because I think you're having a good time out there. Happy homecoming, kid. All right, here we go. So are we going to do the giveaways now?
Giveaways.
Okay, so I'll just tell you real quick, if you're new, you will see a wheel. There it is. And all of you who commented tonight on the show at all, you are on the wheel just because Brian snatched your name and put it up there. So you have a chance of winning one of 6 prizes right now. So I'm going to tell you just real quick, if you do win, if I call out your name, you have to claim your prize by writing us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com and give us your address so we can send these to you, okay? So that's all you need to do to claim your prize is write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com. I'm so excited. I love giving stuff away. This is my favorite. Okay, well, so this is we are giving some.
And off we
I've
go.
got it. Okay, good.
That's
All right,
all-
so
we've already gone.
this is really fun. Who is it?
The winner is
Stella Schramm. You have been randomly selected from the randomizing wheel. We have nothing to do with it. It's all digital, and you have won this fair and square. This is a travel size miracle working foaming cleanser from my company, Cat Cosmetics. That's catcosmetics.com. And so we have donated this prize, and Stella Schramm, you are going to love this. This takes off your makeup, cleans your face, tones it at the same time. You don't
Walks
have,
the
it's
dog.
Walks the dog, does the dishes, gives you a massage. It's amazing. You are going to love this. Stella Schramm, please write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com and give us your address so I can send that
Just
out
keep
to you.
going, I'm getting something.
Congratulations. Let's go for prize number 2. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm getting it now. All righty. And the winner is Brett and John. Brett and John, you have won a copy of My Girls. This is Todd's book. It is fantastic. It's the story of he in his life and he with his mother and sister. It's an incredible book, and it's got tons of photographs in it. You are going to love it. Todd will be happy to sign it to you. What we need you to do is write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com. Say who you'd like that to be signed to, and we will get that to you, okay? Congratulations, guys. I really, really appreciate that. Okay, number 3 out of 6 prizes. Number 3 is donated by Angela Basir, and it goes to Dwayne Shell. Now, Dwayne, you might already have this. I'm going to do it. Can we do a close-up on me? I don't know if we can.
Here, just give it
But
to me.
I'll give it to
put
Todd.
I'll put it on the close-up
Right.
camera.
Put it on your
Well, here.
jacket. Oh, yeah, because it'll show. Todd, go ahead and explain what this is.
Well, this was designed by Ricky LaChance. It was a full-size drawing. And what happened is we used it as the memorial pin. And if you came to my mother and sister's memorial, you were and donated money to the Thalians, you were given this pin.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a little portrayal of my mother is singing the Rain and Carrie from Princess Leia from
Right.
Star Wars, of them walking off together into the sunset. And it's a really touching little drawing that just,
And what's it made out of? Because it's so
it's
beautiful.
got an enamel
Yep.
finish on it.
Yep.
And I have it on most of my coats and
He
things.
always wears it on his jackets,
Yeah,
always.
so, and it's a nice little piece.
So
And people
Dwayne
do ask
Shell,
about
you
it.
are the winner of that. If you already have one, Dwayne, write me at catandtoddlive@gmail.com and let me know, okay? And then we are moving on to Angela Basir, thank you so much for donating that pin. We really appreciate it. And we are now going to give away one of my favorite things ever. It is the travel size muscle gel. It's called the Miracle Working Muscle Gel. It's going to Cammie Roundtree. And this is the best. If you have aching joints or muscles, you can't buy anything like this in a store. I don't care what you see on a commercial, what they say. I am telling you, this is incredible. It's called the Miracle Working Muscle Gel. And you put this on before
And
you
I
go
will
to bed.
vouch for that.
Ah, there you
Oh
go.
yeah,
It
Ryan
is
bathes in it.
phenomenal.
I know it is. I do too, because I have really hard neck and shoulders and hands, feet. It's amazing. So that is.
And can I also say Cammie is like one of our biggest. I see that she goes through she's gone back to like the 2020 shows. She just is like binge watching the shows.
Oh.
She's really into it. So I'm glad she won.
Cammie is so sweet. I've never met her, but she always writes sweet things and comments sweet things. And thank you, Cammie, so much for caring about the show and going back and watching all the shows. It
And
makes
I'm
us
sure
feel
some
great.
of you are wondering where we get all this stuff for these giveaways and for the auction and everything, because that hasn't really always been discussed. Now, Kat's company, Cat Cosmetics, obviously gives a lot of stuff
Yes,
for the
I
show.
get that. Yes, most
But then
everything.
I take stuff out of the collection that we have
Uh-huh.
a little surplus on, and unbeknownst to the neighbors, they're giving up their hedges from the front of their house. So you just dig up our neighbors' hedges, and off
And
they
then-
go. That'll be the final
And
giveaway
I
tonight.
got a prize last night from them. They brought me a beautiful chicken. They brought me a
chicken.
beautiful chicken. And
So
they
she
said,
won.
Can you house this? And I said, absolutely. So I now have a new chicken I'm hoping to bring on. Okay, we have,
Just what we needed
right.
was another chicken.
all right, so we have now 2 more prizes. The next one is the 5th one. This is going to Landslide 41. Landslide 41, you have won this DVD, and it's a Blu-ray,
Oh,
actually.
did I get the wrong movie? That's not the right one. Oh, he's doing 2. Okay.
Yeah, Athena,
Okay. All right. Okay.
Athena, which is it's a
Debbie
Debbie
movie.
Reynolds movie, and it's a Blu-ray, and it is, of course,
From
donated by
Warner
Warner
Brothers.
Archive, and we appreciate that so much. So Landslide 41, since I don't know who you are, please just go ahead and write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com and leave an address so we can get this out to
But
you
you
on
gotta
Monday.
gotta communicate, or you don't
yeah,
get nothing.
Gotta be in it to win it, baby. Here we go. Okay, one more, and then we go to the super wheel. And I just want to see.
No, that was going to be the. No, you were. No, we're doing that.
No, that's the 7th.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh. Okay.
So Janie Shaner, and Ryan, we're going to do one more because we have the 3 little words. So Janie Shaner, you have won a program. This was a program that I actually designed for Debbie and Carrie's public memorial that we had. And it's got that beautiful artwork on the back. But it's just a really great program, and it has everything that we did on the inside, everything that was a part of the program that day. Wow, was that a party or what? We threw a party for the girls that day. Not a dry eye in the house. And this, when you read what we had going on there, it really was amazing. I wish we had a copy of that.
We
Boy.
do.
We do?
We filmed the whole thing. What do
I
you
know
mean?
we did, but I thought it was just a live feed.
No. I recorded it.
Oh
I have
my
a switch
gosh,
feed of
I
the
love
whole show.
that so much. Anyway, congratulations, Janine Shaner. I need your address, and I will send that out to you on Monday. And finally, we're going to give one more thing away on the big wheel here. It is a Blu-ray copy of 3 Little Words,
This is the new release.
and this is a new release. Oh, Jay Van Devere. Jay Van Devere. Here you go, Jay Van Devere. Go
And
ahead.
we want to hear back how you like this
Yeah,
film.
we always want to hear about
Reviews about the
of the
movies.
movies. This is a Blu-ray of 3 Little Words, which just came out actually with
Last
Warner
week.
Archive last week. So go ahead and write us at catandtoddlive@gmail.com and give us an address, and we will send this out to you. Now, we are moving on to the super wheel, we call it. And these are the donors from last week. Those are the only names on that wheel. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And Todd knows what the prize is. I actually do not.
Yep, just give me a moment to show the prize, and then I'll get the names pulled
Okay,
up
so
here.
he's going to show the
Well,
prize, and
in
then
the
we'll...
past, we have, here, I'll go to the close-up camera, Buck. So in the past, we've done pieces of the Debbie Reynolds studio floor, the dance floor. I've talked about this floor before. These are
it bears
marred up and
talking
nicked
about
up on
again.
purpose, and so it's everybody you could think of danced on this floor,
Well,
from
let's
Fred
talk about
Astaire
the
to Michael
history of
Jackson.
the floor. The floor belonged to the MGM studios of the golden era. This was the dance floor that they practiced on, so it has been danced on by everybody. After MGM was taken down, Todd took the entire, I don't know how many square feet of floor out, and he installed it at his mother's dance studio in the giant room that was there. So after it got danced on by all the greats at MGM, it was also danced on by Michael Jackson when they were rehearsing Thriller there. It was danced on by Patrick Swayze and everybody you can imagine in modern Hollywood. And it's just a cool little piece, and it has a plaque on it. I think this is an awesome prize. So that is going to go to, look at all the people. This is exciting. Here we go. The wheel is going. I love this. Oh, I just get so excited. Brenda Stone, you are the winner of this piece of dance floor, which is legend. Everybody you can imagine has danced on this floor. And so I'm so excited. Thank you so much, everybody, all of you who donated last week and this week. Thank you so much. Brenda Stone, please write me at catandtoddlive@gmail.com. Give us your address so we can get this floor to you. I love this. I have one. I actually danced on
Do
this
you
floor.
have one in the office?
Yes, I treasure it. I really do. I love it. So thank you, everybody. That concludes tonight's show, and we couldn't do it without you. So we want to say thank you. Also, thank you for spending your time with us. I want to thank Ryan and Todd and Seth. Gosh, Ryan just worked so hard for us. And Kyle, I hope you had a good night tonight. We'll see you back here next week. And I just love you all. We do. We just love you, and we will see you soon. In fact, next Saturday night, if you want to join us, we'll be right here. I was hoping to show you my new chicken tonight, but I didn't get her on the set.
And all your people abandoned you. You lost a whole staff.
I know. Well, because Seth had a show tonight, we got to let Seth go and do his thing. You know, everybody should do what you want to do. Everybody should, chase your dreams. And you know what? I don't even like to say chase, because that means you're always behind it. So let's not say chase your dreams. Let's say not even follow your dreams, because that again puts you behind the dream.
It can be done.
It can be done. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter how old or young you are. Everybody's got one. Pursue it, okay? Thank you, guys. Be happy. We love you, and we will see you next Saturday night. Signing out. Bye, guys.
There you go. I'll walk back and switch over.
Okay. Here we go. Thank you.
Don't drop your wig.
I
Yay!
won't.
Don't trip on the cord. You got I have to, you can turn you off. Hey, I think have we not met? I think so, yeah. Great to meet you. And who are you?
Kayla.
Kayla, hi.